Hello, everyone. Welcome to Conversations with Sekani, a podcast for people in their 20s who are trying to figure out life and not get lost along the way. Today's guest is Jess Vanrose, a trauma informed guide in nervous system regulation and identity, and the host of the Life After Trauma podcast. Through grounded and compassionate conversations, Jess helps people move beyond survival mode and reconnect with themselves, creating lives that feel more present, intentional, and authentic. Jess, welcome to Conversations with Sekani. It's a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you so much. I'm really grateful to be here.
All right, okay, Jess. So yes, can you take us back to your 20s, basically? Like, what was life like, at that stage of your life? And what were you hoping life would look like, later in life?
Ooh, back to my 20s. Wow. Okay, let's do this. All
All
right.
right.
So my 20s were probably very unusual for most people.
Mm.
Um, so I might have to go back a little bit farther than that to give some context. Um,
Okay.
But my past, my podcast, Life After Trauma, and my trauma-informed guidance all comes from my own life experiences. So I had a rather traumatic upbringing
Mm.
and teenage years. And when I was a teenager, I had to drop out of high school, and I
Mm.
had to work full time. So in my 20s, what I was actually doing was I had gone back to school and I was working towards getting my high school education. And then thankfully, I was able to complete that rather quickly. I went into college, and it was just a lot of trying to figure out what I wanted to do, where I wanted to go, what is my purpose? All
Mm.
of the questions that I feel like we all have in our 20s. Um, I think what I wanted at that point for my life was simply just to feel safe.
Mm.
I wanted a career that provided security, not only financially, but um, I wanted to feel I wanted to feel safe, but also there definitely was a big part of me that was still in survival mode and wanting to, I think, prove myself and also a lot of like people pleasing, you know.
Mm.
Um, yeah, does that kind of answer your question? I
Yes, it does.
so many directions with that.
All right, it does actually. And it's so relatable, right? I like how you explained, your 20s. Because it's something I could connect to, right? Because I believe most of us in our 20s today, we we are all just trying to figure out, but trying so desperately to make decisions that is what it's gonna help us later, right, in life. I mean, when it comes to finance, we want to make sure that we are doing the best when it comes to finance. When it comes to, moving, like, should I stay back? Should I move to a new country? Where should I start my life? I mean,
Right?
those decisions, right?
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of times in our 20s, it's really easy to get caught up in what looks most impressive. Not
Mm.
just like what feels the best to me or what do I actually want, but what could I do with my life that will make other people around me be
Right.
impressed or be like, "Oh,
True.
I misjudged you."
Right, exactly. I mean, that is so on point, basically, right? Like most of the decisions we want to make, I feel like there's a little bit of external validation attached to it, right? We want people to think we are doing well to whatever decisions we make. And I'm currently at that phase of my life too, where I'm trying to make a major decision, and I'm actually considering people. Right? I don't
Yes,
want people to think I'm
it's
going backward. I want them to think I'm successful. I mean, oh, it's overwhelming, I would say.
it's totally
Mm.
normal though. It's totally
Wow.
normal to feel that way. But what I would love to connect this to is
Mm,
that I think a lot of times when we are in that state of, um, let me clarify before I even say this.
mm,
We're human beings. We are always going to want to be somewhat impressive. That's just normal.
mm,
But if you're making a decision fully based from I want other people to care about what I do or what choice I make more than you care about how that choice sits with yourself,
mm.
then that is a really good sign that you are in survival mode.
Oof. Survival mode. All right. Okay. Now I'm thinking, am I in survival mode? Like, so what I really hope I'm not, honestly, but like, what do you think are some of like the signs that, one is currently in survival mode?
Yeah, well, I think like one of the biggest things that you can kind of pinpoint if you're in
Mm,
survival mode is if you're feeling disconnected from yourself, from your body.
mm,
Because okay, so survival mode, there's there's being present in your life, and
mm,
then there's survival mode. And survival mode is kind of like there's I want to say like a glass wall in
mm,
between
mm,
you and your life. You're functioning, you're doing everything that you need to do. You are showing up, you're getting through the day, but you don't quite feel connected to your life. You
mm,
don't quite feel like you're fully alive. Um like you're actually living that life. There's an emotional disconnect
mm,
between you and the life that you're living. Um and I mean, stages with like burnout or overwhelm,
mm,
those are also really good signs that you are probably in survival mode. And I think like one of just a really good way to kind of check in with yourself is if you come back to your breath and just kind of scan through your body and ask like, is my body needing something right now? Am I needing something right now? What am I asking for?
mm,
And if you can if you can hear an answer, because sometimes you
mm,
can't.
mm,
Sometimes you can't. Um, the best thing that you can do for yourself is to follow through with what your body is asking for.
mm. Oh, all right. It's official, all right? I'm in survival mode.
Oh! Okay, well, let me just say, we have
Okay.
all been there, okay?
Mm,
And it's not something that you are in and then you move out of forever. It is
mm,
something that it's kind of like phases in life. I was in survival mode just like 2 months ago, because like
mm,
so much happened in my life. There was this big upheaval. It was totally unexpected. And whenever that happens, like that's just the natural response of our body is to go into survival mode. Like, there's nothing
mm,
wrong with you if you are in that. It's just that we want to be able to recognize that that's where we are so that we can start shifting out of it so we can engage more and enjoy more of our life.
All right. Wow. Okay. So yes, I mean it's cool to know that it's normal, right? It's part of life. So, like you said, start shifting out of it and begin to, connect with yourself more. So what do you
Yeah.
think are like some practical ways one can begin connecting with yourself? And are there daily habits, one can practice, right, to begin connecting with themselves?
Yeah, so what actually started all of this for me was let me which one came first? It was meditation and yoga. I struggle to
Mm,
remember which one came first, but they both taught me what it actually felt like to be present in my body. So
mm,
survival mode can sometimes be a little vague. Um, but the opposite of survival mode is being present in your life. And before you can truly be present in your life, you have to have safety. So
mm,
that's you want to create that inner safety in your body so that you can become present in your life. Um, and creating that inner safety. So the meditation and the yoga, like I said, those were the two big things that started it all for me because they both, I don't like the word force, but that's the
mm.
word that's coming to me. They they
Mm,
encourage you to to
okay.
be more present and in the moment. And then past that, let me think what else. Um, journaling, anything that helps you connect to yourself in the moment. So that could be dancing, that could be singing, that could be going for a walk, that could be
Mm,
gardening, cooking, baking. Like there are so many things and it's different for each person. But I think everybody knows that thing. Like, Sakani, I'm sure you could think of one thing that when you do
mm.
it, you're like, oh, I'm right there. I'm right there with it. What's your
Okay, okay. I'm gonna confess, it's playing dress up right in my room. Right,
thing? Love it.
right.
Love it.
Okay. Yes, it just helps me connect and just be happy, right? Just makes me happy. And for a moment I just forget that there's even things I'm going through, right? It just gives you that moment of happiness. Right. So wow. Okay. So
Exactly.
hmm.
Exactly. And like those moments are what connect us back to our life, ourselves. There's so much of our day-to-day life that we don't have a whole lot of control over. And
Mm,
like honestly, that's just kind of adulthood. That's just life. But
mm,
whenever we can make those moments for ourselves where we can come back, and anything where you're like checking in with your body. Like so many of us don't fully know what's happening in our body.
mm,
And like almost like if you were to ask, do you feel pain somewhere? Like it's like, oh, I don't even notice, you know? Like, oh, I have a headache, but I didn't even notice it for like an hour
mm.
because we're just so disconnected from it.
Hmm. Wow. So, like you said, it's about checking in with ourselves, right? And,
Yeah,
one of those ways we could do that is through, like you said, yoga and meditation, to create inner safety, right? Then journaling, which is good, going for walks, cooking, baking. And there's also, yeah, I spoke with a guest that also talks about art, right? Drawing. It could help,
yes,
right? So,
exactly. There are so many different ways. I feel like it's different for each person.
right.
Um, I I would love to talk a little bit more about the safety piece.
Right.
Okay. So
Okay.
so like I had mentioned, in order to become present in your life,
Mm,
be you have to feel safe first. And so, how we can actually create that inner safety for ourselves is through following through on promises to yourself. It's building
mm,
self trust. So, literally, the easiest way for you to do this, the one that I always think of, and it helps me, is I have a calendar. And Sakani, I am sure you're also a podcaster, so I am sure your
right.
calendar is also packed.
Right.
But like it's setting my day. I make my appointments, go to the gym in the morning and
Mm,
whatever else it is. And it's following through on what you said that you would do.
Mm,
So, gym, I think, is a big one. It's so easy for us to be like, oh, you know what? I actually don't have time for that today. So
mm,
I'm just not going to do that. I'm going to delete it from my calendar, scratch it off the list, whatever. But when we can actually set that appointment, set that gym time, and be like, no,
mm,
I promised myself that I was going to do this. I
mm,
understand that life is busy and maybe other things have to get moved around, but this is a promise that I made to myself, and I
mm,
am going to follow through on it because the promises that we make to ourselves are just as important, if not more important,
mm,
than the promises we've made to other people. And that's how we start to build that inner safety.
mm. Right, keeping promises that we've made to ourselves. Right. And another thing, right, about keeping promises, right? What someone like a guest encouraged was, having a to-do list, right? Just write down those lists. It
Yeah,
just triggers something in your brain that, wants to make you do those things. And then it feels good at the end of the day. You tick it like, oh, I did this today. I did this today. It just helps you feel better. Right. So,
absolutely. And it's made me realize that I need to put way less on my to-do list.
oh, wow.
I'm
All
over
right.
here making like an entire page and it's like 3 days worth of work. And I think I can get it done in one day. It's like, girl, no. You cannot.
Okay, okay. So that just means, we have to be realistic, right? When creating our to-do list. Let's be
Exactly.
realistic. All right. Well, so, I'd like to ask, right? What do you think are some of like the biggest transformation you've seen in people who, begin reconnecting with themselves?
Oh, wow. Oh, let me think for a second here. Um, you know, I wouldn't actually call it big transformations
Mm,
because it's not something that happens quickly. Like when I think of a big transformation, it makes me think of something that's like I don't even know how to put it into words.
mm, mm,
Like it's a huge difference and something that pe makes people go, "Whoa," because like it happens really quickly or it's like a massive change. And I don't think that that is what happens in this kind of process. It is a slower process. Um, but it's something where you see progress each step of the way.
mm,
It's it's slowly built, but it when it's slowly built like that, it's also, I think, a lot more sustainable. Like, it's not something where like, if we take, like, dieting, for example, because that's the example that just came to my head, but if you, like you go on a diet, you lose a bunch of weight, and then there's, like, this huge change, and then you go off the diet because you lost the weight, and
mm,
then you might just, like, fall back into old patterns. That's not
mm,
the case with this. When you can take it slowly, then it's something that actually integrates into your life, and
mm,
it changes how you handle things in general. Um, so I can't necessarily think of, like, a big transformation, but
mm,
the changes in people just in, like, the level of happiness and enjoyment with
mm,
their life. Um, it's incredible, like, some of the things that people have told me, or even, when it comes to, like, dating. I do have
mm.
quite a few friends who are single or currently dating, and they'll tell me, like, each time that their standards increase, and I'm like, "Yes." Like, "Yes, we are
Mm.
getting there."
Exactly. Wow. Okay. Like you said, it's not like this really big change, but it's almost like habits that becomes part of your life, right? You tend to just it becomes a part of your life, and those changes just slowly becomes who you are, right? So it's not like a major, but it definitely brings you happiness, and there are definitely things that you feel and you see that you are doing better than how
Yeah,
you were before. Wow.
exactly. And like I can give you an example from my own life that
Mm,
so I know for me, before I was really becoming more present in my life and my nervous system was a little bit more dysregulated, I would have a lot of situations where I would react to the situation. So reacting instead of responding. So like it's like an immediate maybe I am typically either saying something that I regret or I'm
mm,
doing something that I regret because it's like in the heat of the moment and you don't pause for a second to actually
mm,
like breathe, calm, regulate, and then you can respond to the situation. But that was me before. I was very reactive. And now I will just if something happens that dysregulates me, I will sit there for a full minute. I'll sit there for however long I need, just breathing before
mm,
I respond to the situation. Um,
mm,
and like that pause in the middle, that's probably one of the biggest changes that I've seen in myself, but also it has improved my life drastically because I'm no longer saying things that either hurt people I love or that I don't mean. And
mm,
I'm taking the time to remove my ego from the situation and
mm.
respond in a way that feels true to me.
Right. Wow. Oof. Okay, Jess, I would say this has been amazing, honestly. Personally, I've learned a lot, and I've also written down things I'm actually going to be practicing from today. All right. So yes, thank you. And finally, I want you to talk to someone out there, right? Specifically younger adults, because there's a lot of anxiety out there. I mean, people are overwhelmed, people are anxious, people are lost also, and they don't even know how to begin reconnecting with themselves. It's almost like a very big deal for them, right? So what would you want them to, hear or know about
Mhm.
life, basically?
Yeah. Well, first of all, you're not alone in it.
Mm.
We have all been there if we are not already currently there with you. Um, yeah, I think that the easiest first step that you can take is your breath.
Mm,
And what I like to do is I will inhale for a count of four, hold for a count of four, and then
mm,
exhale for a count of six. And that longer exhale actually signals safety to your body, and it will
mm,
help you to just come back to a little bit more of a baseline. You can't you can't really make changes or make choices in your life when you're not at that baseline. So that is our goal is to just come back to baseline and your breath will help you do that. The next thing would be like I had mentioned before, checking in with your body. Your body has all of the answers. Like it knows everything that you need. And I promise you, if you take a moment to sit in silence, then you can take a moment, sit in silence, and it
mm,
will, you'll be able to check in with your body a little bit more and find out
mm,
what it is specifically asking for, and then give that to yourself.
mm. Wow. Oh, all right. Thank you for that beautiful one, actually. And yes, thanks for also sharing your story and your insights with us, actually. So, yes, this moves me to the final segment of my podcast. I call it the rapid fire segment. You could either
Ooh,
answer with a word or a phrase starting now.
okay.
Okay, so what is a small habit that helps you feel grounded?
Yoga.
Hmm. All right. Okay, so morning person or night owl?
I'm both, and it's so challenging.
Oh, okay. So what is a book or podcast that changed your perspective on life?
Oh, The Untethered Soul. Mm,
Hmm.
love it. Or The Four Agreements. Both of them. I feel like they're tied.
Okay, all right. So what is one word that describes healing?
Oh, describes healing. I'm gonna say journey. Like,
Hmm.
and I feel like that's such a cliche answer, but but it's true because
Hmm.
it's not something that we can snap our fingers and we're just there. It's literally about the day-to-day actions that we take and constantly choosing to show up for ourselves and our healing.
Hmm. Wow. Ooh. And finally, what is bringing you joy these days?
Hmm. You know what? It's actually the gym.
Wow.
I
Okay.
yeah, I've been super consistent at the gym and it improves my days all of the time.
Wow. All right. The gym. Okay. Okay. All right. So yes, thank you, Jess. I would say this has been amazing, honestly. And finally, where can listeners get to, learn more about you and also connect with you?
Yeah, for sure. So, easiest place is my website, which is jessicavanrose.com. I do actually offer one-on-one guided sessions. I call it guided sessions, not coaching, because I believe you have all of the answers. And sometimes you just need someone to sit there with you and kind of guide you along the way. So I do offer that. It's on my website if listeners are interested in checking that out. Or you can also check out my Instagram, which is at Jess Vanrose.
All right. Wow. Okay. So yes, I'm gonna put the link in the show notes so it's easily accessible for listeners. And to my listeners, I would say thank you for tuning in to Conversations with Sekani. If this episode sparked something in you, just as it did in me, make sure to share to someone who you think might need this. And also subscribe so you don't miss out on new episodes. Once again, thank you, Jess. Do have a beautiful day ahead of you.
Thank you so much, Sekani. This has been great.